3, 2, 1.
This is a Wild Games Production podcast.
You remember.
Roll your stealth roll.
Game books, pencils, pizza, cheese puffs, and a hell of a lot of dice.
And the dragon woke up.
Roll for Initiative. This is the Roll for Initiative podcast, where 1E is the place to be.
The Roll for Initiative podcast is back. We are in Volume 6, issue number 189 in 2017. I'm Vince, sitting with Nick.
Merry New Year!
And Matt.
Hello, everyone.
And we were going to have Crispy on this show so people could vomit, but Crispy tweaked his back and is unable to attend the show. He couldn't make it to the studio.
No.
Well, like I was saying before the show, it's not like we're going to ask him to do thief after bat stuff. Here.
His segment did have some roles involved, so.
Yeah.
Oh. What,
And-
you couldn't take like ibuprofen or something?
I don't know. I have to ask him.
Well, I guess he's just going to have to turn in his man card.
Well, more likely he actually got a hold of the magic item he was going to talk about. I mean, it was the Sword of Cowardice after all.
Oh.
Oh, wow. Matt with the low blow, digging the knife into the back of Crispy. Roll.
Nice.
The already injured back of Crispy.
Yes.
Like a true thief.
Definitely. Okay, so what's been going on with you, Nick, since the New Year?
Oh, well, we did another session of our D6 Star Wars campaign.
Cool.
Because, the new movie came out, Rogue One. So, had to be done.
Mhm.
That was really fun. And other than that, just like for Christmas, for myself, I got a couple things. I got, for Call of Cthulhu, I got the print hardbound version of Pulp Cthulhu, which is out by Chaosium, which is amazing. This has been like vaporware for like forever, but now it's finally out hardbound. It's very pretty. It's nice. So if you want to bring all that sort of pulp action to your Call of Cthulhu game, either set the 20s or 30s, I highly, highly recommend it. It's really, really neat. You've got to check that out. And then I got hardbound of Borrow-Maze Complete.
Oh.
And I believe we did a review of that a while ago when it was Borrow-Maze 1 and 2, but this is the whole complete thing. Wow, totally blown away. Can't wait to run that sometime. So, yeah, those are the couple of things I got for Christmas, and yeah, that's pretty much it. How about you?
Well, I got a couple things for Christmas. My wife got me a couple electronic items. I got a new setup here in the man loft, so I have all these monitors. It kind of looks like an actual studio now, the way I have it set up, minus the speakers on the walls and everything. But yeah, WGP Studios is now in full effect.
I'm picturing you like in a Batman costume with all the monitors around you.
Well, that'd be like a fat Batman, so that's gross, dude.
So you're Dark Knight Returns Batman?
Yeah.
I don't picture him as Adam West Batman at all.
No, but it's just funny because I got the monitor here on the left, the monitor in the middle, the monitor on the left. I have a laptop on the right, a laptop on the left, so I can do whatever I need to do for the show now.
And Alfred to bring you a martini.
I wish. Gaming-wise, I've just mostly been writing for stuff for Mobius Adventures, trying to get some more stuff out for Mazes and Perils. So
Cool.
we got a Kickstarter coming towards the end of the year for some campaign. Can't tell you the name, but it's a campaign setting that's someone else, a third party, wanted to do. So we're looking forward to that. Matt, what about you, buddy?
Well, yeah, had a very gaming Christmas. The wife got me the 5th edition Player's Handbook, so I finally am moving into 5th edition.
Really?
Yes. My gaming group wants to try a 5th edition game, so I'm like, yeah, I should probably break down and get the Player's Handbook.
It's not really that bad. I mean,
No, it's not.
If
I
you
mean,
play
I'm going
it
through
could
it.
be
I'm like,
old
oh,
school.
no, this looks, yeah, it looked. looks rather interesting. So I'm like, okay, I can do this.
It's not
And
as
I'm
then,
gonna grudgingly give it a try. I think at Origins this year.
yeah,
I figure why the heck not? See what these kids are all raving about nowadays.
right.
You
Yeah,
know, with their
I think,
hairstyles and fax machines. But
yeah. I mean, just
Ugh.
my initial thumbing through it. It tries to combine what everyone liked from the various editions to without getting bogged down in the miniature wargaming that fourth edition was. So it's a nice little streamlined game that doesn't feel strange. It's new, but it also has that familiar feeling to it. So
I
you're
heard
not
it's
going.
very modular in that respect, so you can
Yeah,
tweak it
yeah,
to feel any which way you want to play it,
Absolutely,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
and it doesn't fall apart.
Yeah.
No. For you can break it down and put what you want into it. Like my DM was doing for a while when we played fifth. He broke it down to make it feel like first. So I was like, oh, this is not bad.
Right.
Huh. I'll give it a go. I think.
Yeah.
Give
Yeah,
it
it's
a
definitely
going
worth
a
it.
go. There you go.
And then mostly otherwise it was a lot of board games. Me and my wife have been board gaming recently, so we started exchanging board games.
Aww.
I got her there's a fairy tale card game because well, if it's a fairy tale or a cat game, we need to own it. Is pretty much what I've determined. So I got her some of those.
So the cats
She
play
got
too?
me like an expansion for Smash Up, an expansion
Oh.
for Marvel Legendary, and then. But as for actual playing games, other than just playing some of the games we got for Christmas, I also played Muhammad Ali versus Sonny Liston in Avalon Hill's title bout to bring in the new year.
Oh, okay. Never played
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's not so much a game, more of a boxing simulation board game. And it was amusing. They went 15 rounds, and as you're flipping the cards over just to see the results, you actually can feel it feels like a real boxing match.
Right.
And the game itself came with like 300 some real boxers, so you could fight pretty much.
I mean, they
whatever
stuck
you
the
want.
boxers in the actual box. Oh my god!
Yes,
Been
I know.
cramped.
It's Avalon Hill. They were really good about condensing things, and
Apparently so.
They must
Yeah.
have had a shrinking spell.
So there's a miniature version of Mike Tyson.
yes,
Oh, Lord. Don't do a voice, Nick.
Okay, okay. I promise. Damn it, I was going to, but
I know you
no.
were.
yeah, we know where that.
Curse you!
Yes.
The only voice you're allowed to do on this is two of them, and that's Homer Simpson and Christopher Walken.
It's not fair.
I know. You'll live. Oh, of course, Dracula.
Boy.
Yeah. The one that everybody hates, apparently.
Yes.
Anyway, so what stars do we have, Nick?
Yes, starred reviews. We have 3 of them over on iTunes. And just to remind everybody, head over to iTunes. You can look up any of our previous shows. Just type in Roll for Initiative or RFI, and you can go from there. And you can also give us some reviews, and we will read them if we darn well feel like it.
For better or for
for-
worse?
For better or for worse, yes. We've had over 217 ratings right now, average 4.5 stars. So thank you to everybody.
Thank you.
Yes. And our first one is from Eric McDaniel 28, and he says, great idea for a show, and it's 5 stars. So he says, we need more OSR content out there. Hurrah for me. Absolutely. People throw hundreds of dollars at WotC every year are missing out on the dangerous, gritty fun that comes from a do-it-yourself attitude and approach. Keep it going. I wholeheartedly agree, Mr. McDaniel.
Yes, definitely.
Harumph again.
Humph.
Harumph. I get a harumph out of you.
All right.
Anyway, our next one comes from Chainsaw Boy 63.
Okay.
Michael Myers?
Oh,
And he says, old school goodness with 5 stars.
yay.
And Chainsaw Boy 63 also says, if you're a fan of AD&D, this is the podcast for you.
Yeah.
The hosts know their stuff, and more importantly, they love it. Yes, we do, and we do. I think we know our stuff, do we?
According to people, no.
No, well, some.
I'm kidding.
Yeah, to some people we do, some others are otherwise. But we also have our last review from another podcast.
Oh.
Yeah, they're called the Digital and Dice Podcast.
Huh?
And well done. 4 stars. They say, found you guys on Twitter. We like your show. You guys have a good thing going on, and your production value is great. Keep up the good work. I think that's the first time we had a review from another podcast.
Yeah, I would definitely think it's, yeah. I've never heard of us do another one from a podcast. Cool.
That's very cool. So they're called the Digital and Dice Podcast. I guess we'll have to check them out, huh?
Yeah, check
Return
them
the
out.
favor?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Because we're just one big happy family here, aren't we? And awkward silence.
Yes.
Matt and I cued that perfectly.
Yes. So who's the creepy uncle?
You.
Yeah, I could live with that.
Okay.
So those are all of our reviews. And thank you, everybody, to giving us reviews on iTunes. And we'll have to check out those guys for sure.
Okay.
Well, I just pulled up their website, and their latest episode is episode 96, Racist Robots.
Racist robots?
Okay.
Yes,
What's the website
intrigued.
address?
I am too.
What's...
It's digitalanddice.com.
All right, folks. Head over to digitalanddice.com. Check them out and see what they sound like.
Mm.
They have a summary of what their show is even about, or
It's based. It looks like they talk about video games, role-playing games, anime, movie, comics, internet, and everything. Basically, it sounds like a overall
general geek podcast.
Geek/gaming podcast.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, it looks like they also got a YouTube channel and a Twitch stream, and so looks like they're pretty active.
Cool.
I like it.
Well, we'll add that to the show notes, and people can click on that and give them a holler.
Yeah, gonna have to give them a listen after the show.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
All right, we'll be right back after this.
Are you enjoying the show you're listening to right now? Want to help support the show? Why not head over to the Patreon site, patreon.com/WGP. That's patreon.com/WGP. And help support the network for as little as $1.50 a month. That's right, $1.50 a month goes a long way. Thank you.
Typical. Of all the evil creatures in the world, I'd like to find one with table manners.
What are you kidding me? I spent years cultivating the worst table manners on the planet.
Table manners.
Isn't that a lovely intro? I always love that.
It's our original intro.
I know. Spent years cultivating the worst table manners on the planet.
Yeah.
I know a guy like that.
Oh?
I do. Anywho.
Mm-hmm.
So, today we're going to be covering an issue where everybody getting their Wayback Machine.
Oh, that was... Sorry, that's Wayne's World.
Yes. Or if you're real geeky like us, a TARDIS. And head back to November of 1984.
Or that machine from the Time Machine.
Where I'm Casey Kasem.
Oh,
and we're bringing you Dragon Magazine number 91.
Nick.
Yes.
That's not one of your approved voices.
But I do it so well.
Oh, all right. Christopher Walken it.
Yeah, he's out to lunch.
Ah, darn.
He's walking on sunshine. What can I say? But yeah, Dragon issue number 91. So we're going to give this a little bit of perusal and highlight some things out of this issue. Even comment on some of the ads, just kind of going back and I guess to kick it off for everybody, the little, what was going on at that time. And we're talking, it was back in 1984. So what was going on then? You had both the Winter and Summer Olympics going on that year.
Yeah.
That was when they were at times were coinciding in the same year. And I believe the summer ones was the Summer Olympics that were in Los Angeles, and they were boycotted by the Soviet Union.
Yeah. Yeah, because the 1981 was in Russia, in Moscow, and we boycotted those, so they returned the
Yeah.
favor the following Olympics.
That's correct. And what else went on in 1984? Obviously, the book, the 1984 was a big bestseller, and now there was a corresponding movie that came out, which was a very good adaptation of that book, at least in my opinion. So you had the 1984 election where Ronald Reagan won by a tremendous landslide over, I believe, Walter Mondale.
Yes, correct.
And we,
Yeah.
in 1984, also saw the introduction of the Apple computer,
Yes.
the Macintosh, that famous commercial.
Oh, that's right. The commercial with that was done by Ridley Scott.
Yes.
Going along with that, guess who was born in 1984?
I don't know who.
Mark Zuckerberg, the inventor of Facebook.
Yay.
For all that's worth. Okay, at least a little bit better. How about Scarlett Johansson? She was born in 84.
Okay.
I could live with that. So that's a few highlights of what was going on in 84, besides me being like 13 years old.
Nick.
So what can we start to say about this issue, number 91? What I got to ask you, Vince, what drew you to this issue to talk about it?
Hell.
Okay.
Well,
yeah, there's articles about hell. That's right.
Yeah. Well, Ed Greenwood goes into more depth about the Dukes of Hell and explains more about how it works, and definitely and kind of fleshes out how to summon and how to work with the creatures and various magical items. Even gives us 2 minerals that people use to forge weapons and armor from planes of hell that are very rare. So I'm just it'd be kind of cool to find those things on a campaign and see what your DM does with them, because they're rare. And just imagine having that armor running around, like that hellish armor, one that turns into like a grayish black, and if you mix it with this gray, it turns
with iron.
Iron, that's it. Yeah, it turns greenish colored. So it'd be kind of cool.
I think they mentioned in the article that Gurion, the Archduke, his scepter, his magic scepter is made of that metal. One of the things I liked about that article, because it's I guess it was written like as a companion to the other 2 articles that was written by Ed Greenwood about the 9 hells that were in issues, I want to say 76 and 77.
Yeah, I think it was that. It might have been 74. It was around the mid 71. Yeah, but I think you're right.
Yeah, it was somewhere around there. And those, issues 75 and 76.
Okay.
Of Dragon. And I remembered those being some of my favorite issues, or at least favorite articles of Dragon magazine. This is a nice companion to that.
Yeah.
So there's so much to it.
Yeah, and what I also find interesting is you have all these articles on hell and demons and the like. At the same time, you're in the heart of the satanic panic.
Yeah. I was just thinking that too. That didn't help things much, did it?
That's all Mom needs to see is that Dragon article saying the planes of hell defined. It's like
and how to control the demons and forge armor from them, and
also how to properly pronounce their names. So when they show up, they won't destroy you and rip you limb from limb and what have you and suck your soul.
Right.
Yes.
Maybe that much detail, but
yeah. But then as we kind of established, the satanic panic actually kind of spawned more sales for AD&D, so it didn't
bad press sometimes is good press.
Yeah.
Any press is good press, as they say.
That's what it is, right? Any press is good press. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So, what else about this issue? We also mentioned, or we were going to talk about some of like the ads in here, and some of the things that were typical for the time, where it seemed for a long time, Ral Partha had the very first like page or 2 always had an advertisement from them.
Yeah,
and that seemed to like go for like years. And also the very back cover was always something about Middle Earth role playing, about MERP, and this is no exception. the funny thing is, I guess talking about like that ad about MERP, I never played it. I've always heard about it, but I never got into it. I never knew anybody who played it though.
No, I never even heard of the game until much later in life. Looking through some old Dragon magazines, I'm like, MERP. I think someone mentioned that. I've never seen it.
I've never played it either. Closest I came to playing it was I actually have a Choose Your Own Adventure book.
Oh,
I remember those. Yeah,
Iron Crown put out in Middle Earth. So I have one of those Choose Your Own Adventure books.
Yeah,
kind of loosely based off of MERP.
I do remember hearing later on that the system that Middle Earth role playing was based off of Rollmaster. When it comes to the combat system, was incredibly, deadly. So you could have, if using that system along with Middle Earth, you could have like Aragorn like die off immediately. It's that deadly if you're playing Aragorn. So I just remember that.
Did any of you guys play the Broadside board game that they have here, an ad for here?
No, I had not.
No, there was so many board games out that I don't even remember that one, to be honest.
It's like I remember it just because, remember it as I have some of the other Game Master line like Axis and Allies, Fortress America, and I remember wanting to get Shogun, which later became Swords and Samurais due to, Shogun.
Copyright infringement.
Yeah. But, those were kind of like my entry into wargaming. Was Axis and Allies and Fortress. Actually, I had Fortress America before I even had Axis and Allies.
Yeah, for me too, it was Axis and Allies.
And then shortly thereafter, I discovered Avalon Hill, and my gaming collection budget took a huge hit at that point when I'm like, oh, I need to buy more expensive war games I'll never probably actually even get on the table, but I like owning them.
I like having them on my shelf.
The funny thing is,
what?
You look at this ad for it, the two guys playing, and you have the two big plastic ships. Can you imagine the production value of that nowadays compared to 1983, 84?
$80 box set.
Those games were expensive for back then. I
think they were $30, maybe 40.
Yeah, they were like $30-$40 each.
Yeah, today you're probably talking at least double that.
Yeah, you're talking like Fantasy Flight, big box board game cost. So you're looking like $80.
Oh Lord!
I mean, these are like big plastic warships. There, they got all their little pieces of all the pirates and buccaneers.
Yeah, you have to remember that things were made a little bit better back then too.
Right. I was just thinking, now 30 some years later, it's like, wow, to make something like that, it would cost a lot.
Is that even still being sold, Matt? Have you seen that?
No, pretty much. Because what happened is Milton Bradley originally had the license to Axis and Allies and the Game Master stuff. They sold it to Hasbro. And then Hasbro bought Avalon Hill, but basically Hasbro ended up buying Axis and Allies and the Game Master stuff. And they just bought Axis and Allies because Fantasy Flight got Fortress America, and actually now that I think about it, Wizards of the Coast also got Swords and Samurais because they released it as
to Road to Empire because I had that one too. Yeah. I don't know what happened to that one.
Yeah. But it was like broadsides and boarding parties and Conquest of the Empire. Those kind of fell into the abyss because even Swords and Samurais got re-released like a few years ago by Wizards of the Coast under a different name. And the re-releases of them though, like Fortress America and Swords and Samurais, they like a much smaller game board. And basically, it's like same amount of pieces, and the bits are good, but the board itself is far more condensed. And plus, they tweak some of the rules to balance the games a little more. So it's not quite the original experience, but they're still fun.
Huh.
Yeah.
Did you guys read any of the letters in the letter section?
Letters to the editor type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like the very first one about it was a comment on a letter that was written by another person from a previous issue by the name of Catherine Kerr. If anybody knows anything about fantasy and sci-fi authors, she's a famous fantasy and sci-fi author. And she wrote, I guess, a letter about, or an article on playing evil characters and how basically she didn't really like having evil characters in a campaign because from her experience, and this guy was basically a rebuttal on that. So I just thought that was neat that there was, Catherine Kerr, who for the longest time, she played D&D for a while. So I just thought that was kind of cool in the letter section.
Very interesting.
Yeah.
We have a Thieves Guild.
Oh, yes.
Add second edition. I don't think I've ever owned a Thieves Guild book.
No, neither have I. I don't recall ever seeing Thieves Guild out in the stores. I don't know.
No,
my neck of the woods.
Not in my brick and mortar stores either. I don't remember even. I've heard of it. I've never even seen it though.
Yeah.
I've never even seen it at conventions. Like I've never seen it in North Texas either. I mean, it could have been there. I've never seen it.
I'm kind of confused. Is it like its own game system or is it a game setting? I'm not quite sure.
I always thought it was just something compatible with all with AD&D.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's pretty cool advertising. I like the picture of it. The dude stealing a gem, but and there's a Medusa coming up. At least see the shadow, but yeah, I don't know anything about it. I'm actually kind of curious. Anybody out there, I guess, who's listening?
Speaking of
actually complete, its own standalone rule system.
It is.
Yeah.
Huh.
So it's actually its own game system because there's actually some expansions for it. Thieves Guild 2, Thieves Guild 3, Thieves Guild 4. They were very creative in their naming. Thieves Guild 5, Thieves Guild 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's like
a lot of originality.
Total of 10 books for this, different adventures and whatnot.
Huh.
So it's actually a game system.
You said there's original. Never mind.
With its own game system.
Yeah.
Yeah. Here.
That's cool.
I know they were talking about Medusa on Reddit. Speaking of Medusa, if Medusa sees Medusa in a mirror, does Medusa fry itself? That was a big, huge debate on Reddit for some reason.
And I thought it was established that the answer is yes. That's pretty much the gimmick of any time anyone's ever fought a Medusa.
Oh, yeah, reflection. Gaze reflection, yeah.
Yeah, but everyone's like, well, no, because it's her power. She'd be immune to her. And then people just arguing nonstop about it.
It's like, haven't you guys seen Clash of the Titans?
That's just a movie. That's not D&D
rules.
It's
the Enterprise versus the Superstar Destroyer argument.
Yes, pretty much.
Star Destroyer wins. Moving on.
Ooh. Mean.
I thought this was kind of cool. There's a one-page section here from Gary Gygax, his Sorcerer's Scroll section. He wrote in about a demon that got left out of the Monster Manual too. They're called the Goristro.
With Dr. Menser.
With what?
With Dr. Menser.
With Dr. Menser, of course, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So he gives the write-up of the Goristro that was missing out of the Monster Manual too. It's a major demon, basically a big ugly brute.
Right.
And I thought it was interesting because it's just one page, and I think at this time in '84, he was busy out there in Hollywood.
I think that's Dungeons and Dragons cartoon time when Lorraine threw him out into the ocean.
Yeah, pretty much.
Get lost. Go deal with the cartoon.
Right.
Yeah, pretty much. He only had time to do like a one-page article, and I think the very next year was his very last Sorcerer's Scroll section that he wrote.
Also with this, though, a lot of this is stuff that was just missing from the Monster Manual too that should have been in there, but oops, we forgot.
Yeah.
So it's as much dusting off, just finding the old notes. Oh, we referenced this, but forgot to talk about it. Oops.
Well, there's
those notes.
Quite a bit referenced with demons. That's why most of the demon write-ups were here in the Monster Manuals. That no one was like, well, where's the answer to this?
Yeah, exactly.
Right, because the demons are the one where they started name dropping the most amount of stuff that wasn't already talked about.
Yes. Got a Palladium role-playing game ad on the next page.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
Back in the early
didn't play.
days of Palladium.
I never played Palladium itself. I played like Turtles and
I've done
Superhero.
Robotech, Turtles.
Robotech, yeah.
Those are the two Ninjas and Super Spies.
Yes.
I played that.
but never Palladium.
Right. I have it. I have it on my shelf. I actually
So do I.
Yeah, because every year Palladium does their surprise gift box where basically you pay $45 plus shipping and just list a whole bunch of stuff you want, and they just fill a box full of things and send it to you all signed. So I'm like, I did that one year and got a lot of books, so that's how I got my Palladium Fantasy.
Yeah, I
that's
have
cool.
the same stuff you guys. I got the one rule book for Palladium. I got a whole bunch of Robotech stuff, a few things for TMNT, and a boatload of stuff for Riffs.
Yeah.
I'm assuming.
Yeah, I got caught up in Riffs for a while.
I'm assuming the Palladium role-playing game is just to strip down generic rules or something.
It's basically the Palladium role-playing game is the Palladium system. It's the exact same system, but just it has spells and it's fantasy classes.
Yeah, it's always been like assumed like Palladium RPG is
It's
like a
basically-
house ruled D&D essentially. That's how
Yeah.
it kind of started.
Right, and basically you can think if you wanted to, you could have your fantasy D&D game with Vertec fighters. It works.
That's Riffs.
Yes, pretty
Riffs
much.
is
Actually,
everything
it
but
is.
the kitchen sink.
Yeah. So it's Palladium is Palladium in that it's very odd and things aren't always the most well explained when it comes to ability scores, what they do, and all of
Yeah.
that. But
Yeah.
and then not to mention that the combat gets very nerdy when it comes
Yes, it
to
does.
counter blows and flips and throws and it's
Sort of like the next article.
yeah.
Realistic vital statistics.
I found
A
that
new system for figuring heights and weights.
I found it really interesting what they did and how they wrote it up, and it was something to consider. But I'm like, I really don't care about going to that much detail.
Right.
But if I was in the mood to be an accountant that day, this is like the perfect article.
Yeah.
Perhaps
This was one of those articles when I got my issue in Dragon magazine where I'm like, I'm never gonna read this. I don't care. I'm 13. Get on some good stuff.
Yeah, demons.
This is the article for the champions player who likes to accounting with their
Yes.
character creation.
Yeah. I guess-
So there is a great little advertisement for Aftermath RPG.
I've never played that.
I had a friend who had the role playing game. It's even a more gritty version of Gamma World, if you could imagine that.
Is it even still around? I've never heard of it. In the Aftermath, I've never heard of it.
Yeah, Aftermath is pretty cool. I've seen the rule book. My friend of mine had it. I never played it though. But Fantasy Games Unlimited had a few good games like Space Opera. I know that.
Weren't they the ones that did the original Fantasy Warcraft? Am I thinking of something?
Don't know.
I'm thinking of
I know
Fantasy
they
Flight,
did.
maybe?
They did Aftermath. They did Space Opera. There was also one called Flashing Blades. I think was kind of like swashbuckler, kind of Three Musketeers sort of game. I even think they had their own superhero game too. I don't quite remember.
Yeah, they've got like Aftermath, Bushido, Daredevils, Flash.
Yeah, they had like a whole page of all their different RPGs and Dragon.
Yeah, they also
magazine
gave us
advertised.
Villains and Vigilantes.
You can
Was that Fantasy Games Unlimited?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
And then
I couldn't remember who it was. I
yeah.
like Villains and Vigilantes.
Yeah.
Oh, you could still
That
buy
was fun.
You could still buy the games from FantasyGamesUnlimited.net.
Yep.
$24 for Aftermath, the core.
Oh, that's not bad.
And they have this.
That's the same price it was back in '84. I'll be damned. Huh.
It got a horrible review. Almost every site gives it like 2 stars out of 5.
Wow.
I don't know. They also did Bushido, Daredevils, Flashing Blades, Merc, like Matt said, Privateers and Gentlemen, PSI World, Space Opera, Swordbearer, Villain V&V, and Year of the Phoenix.
Okay. The funny thing is, we're more interested in those games than this article. Yeah, this article is really dry. It's like,
Well,
why would I care?
It's interesting if you really want to get into depth about your character, if you really want to learn what his height, weight, and everything should look like, what his pound.
Precisely.
If you're really into that, and there's some people that are really into that because they really want to know what they have, there's a perfect article for you to get into it.
Yeah, you get your heights and your weights and everything for your character, and 10 steps into the dungeon, he falls into a pit trap and dies. Okay. And that was all for nothing.
Yeah. Oh, and one more thing. We forgot probably the most important thing Fantasy Games Unlimited ever did.
What's that?
Bunnies and Burrows.
They did Bunnies and Burrows.
They no longer sell it, though.
Yeah, if you go on their drive-through RPG page, you can find it.
Well, maybe it's under miscellaneous.
It is.
Oh, yeah.
Now, kind of buried in this article about heights and weights ratios and what have you, the wing velocity of an unladen swallow. We have an advertisement for the game. I think I'm pronouncing this right. Jorune. Remember seeing the advertisements for this game, Jorune?
Jorune. Oh, I thought you were talking about Nova.
No, Jorune.
Gotcha. The Dragon Riders of Pern was also another ad we had briefly in there, real small.
Yeah. But it's on page 13 by Sky Realms Publishing.
Mm-hmm.
I remember hearing a lot about this game after it was released because it was so different. And I always got the kind of it was like a John Carter kind of Warlord of Mars kind of vibe from it. Maybe Fire Pedal Drone sort of thing.
Right.
But I've always heard a lot of good. It was very critically acclaimed at the time, from what I understand too. Just for how different, how unique it was. I've never played it though. I've seen it though. Mm-hmm. I've seen it out there, but it always intrigued me because it always seemed so different.
It's actually a free download now on Archive.
Archive.org. Yep, I'm looking at it.
No kidding.
Yeah. Very. You can get the whole. I don't know if it's legal or not. A lot of things on archive.org may not be legal, so
yes. Disclaimer.
We're not going to include the link in the show notes because I don't know if it's legal. Just Google it; you'll find it. It's the very first link if you really want it. There's no art as far as I can see, really.
Okay.
No, so it may be legal because it's just I don't know. No.
Even then, no, there is if you go because in the other supplements. It's just that the main book, the main book has some art in it when you flip through the pages. So there's a PDF scan of the book out there, but
like I said, 1985. Like I said, you never know if it's legal or not. So
I also see here there's a advertisement for a
that book.
The Psychic?
Yes,
the Psychic?
it's my mind. Everyone else, get out.
Get out.
Why would that even be in here? I mean, come on now.
Now you're just making it worse with the whole.
Why would TSR put that in there?
Well, probably because their ad department was like, someone said, "Here, I have money. Put me in your magazine."
Yeah.
Hi, I need money for Buck Rogers, so let me put whatever I need inside my magazine.
Yeah, this is a good point where you start to see in Dragon Magazine more non-gamer related advertisements, something like this. Or kind of sort of on the fringe, maybe somewhat related, but not directly. Some people might be interested. I remember later on they had in their advertisements at the very back of the magazine, they would have almost like, what is it?
The
public
classified section.
They also had, the public service announcement sort of things back there, Yeah,
gamers looking for other gamers with home addresses in the magazine.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
Which I'm fine with, but they also had stuff from the ad council,
Oh yeah, the public service stuff. Yeah,
Spock does not grok smoking. Okay. Who cares?
How about Headhunters Limited?
They
That's
paid
there,
for
too.
their spot.
Oh, Headhunters?
Yeah.
That was for the old original Recon role playing game. Which I used to have. They were little booklets. It was really cool. Before Recon got bought
Palladium?
by Palladium, be a Palladium game system. It was its own game system in its own right.
Yeah. Even then, the Recon for that Palladium public wasn't really Palladium system. It was still the revised edition was still its own thing.
Yeah.
Send $4.95 by check or money order to the Cinnamon Tree Bookshop. I'm sorry, I'm still stuck on that. It's on my mind.
Yeah,
Stupid
it's
thing.
funny.
Yeah.
Allowed to 3 weeks for delivery.
Yeah, because I've got the deluxe revised edition of Recon, and it's not the Palladium system at all. It's something completely different that Eric Wujek came up with. So,
also being in 1984, you saw the big push for Dragonlance. Yes.
I don't know. Some of those modules were really good, and other ones were just like meh.
Yeah.
Very.
I heard Woo Woo Railroad.
Yeah.
Yeah, because when you're trying to follow the books, the outcome kind of has to be predetermined if you want to experience the books. It'd be like trying to do role play the original Star Wars trilogy as the main characters.
Right.
But I don't want to do that. But Luke has to do that. His hand must go.
I hate to say I was never really all that drawn to Dragonlance.
Really?
I don't own any of the novels or the modules. I have the one book that they published for AD&D, the Dragonlance Adventures book. I think I got it for birthday or Christmas one year.
Oh yeah, that's it. I used that book so many times for games just to play in the Dragonlance world, but I never really followed anything Dragonlance. I just liked the setting itself.
Right.
Yeah, I thought the setting was intriguing. I just never got into all the stuff that was around it that, eventually even Forgotten Realms got sucked into, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, this was starting like I think even either earlier that year or the previous year that this was like the next big thing from TSR was Dragonlance. So, and then after that, you have actually one of my favorite, the Ecology series, the Ecology of the Leucrotta.
Why do I feel like that Ed did the Leucrotta a bunch of times, or I don't know. I just feel like this is not the first time I've seen that.
Not that I recall. I know a long time ago, we did a thing on the Leucrotta on the show.
Maybe that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah, we did a thing where we actually had our own characters and we role played it out an encounter with a Leucrotta. Basically, a big old combat, and they are nasty. So, one of the things I always liked. Here's a little trivia for you. A little trivia question. What was the very first ecology article about in Dragon Magazine? Anyone know?
Flumph.
Nope.
Oh.
You're close. It's kind of a mundane creature, but a little bit more deadly. Matt, got anything?
No idea. Well, and I have the Dragon Decks up right now. So
it's the Piercer. The Piercer. The Piercer was the very first one of the Ecology series. I remember that because my very first Dragon magazine had the Piercer in it, that issue. I think it was issue 72.
Ah.
Yeah, still have it.
A young little Nick with a magazine grasped in his hand.
Yeah, in my hot little hand there. Go, oh my God, this opens up a whole new world for me. I'm become uber geek now. But yeah, I always love the Ecology series ones. And this one's really good too. The one reason I like them is because if you look in the appendix of the article, that gives, little added things if you encounter a mated pair or they have young, how do you handle that? I thought that was always kind of cool. It adds a little more depth to certain monsters that say, well, they don't always appear full grown. So you might have some times where they might appear as young, or you have a mated pair with their young, or what have you.
No, they're all instantly grown.
They're all instantly grown.
Yeah.
That's painful.
Ow.
A painful birth. But yeah, it's a good article. It's pretty neat. It gives you some insight how you can play these creatures, particularly just how devious and evil they could be, because their whole voice mimicry ability that they have. It can be kind of creepy, you know. If you think about it, they're mimicking the voices of like maybe little children or maybe a lost loved one, and then you're trying to find that person, and next thing you're pounced on by this thing that looks like a combination of like a deer and a badger. Not fun.
No. Then we get to
So that was
our 9 hells.
cool article. Yeah.
How
Which
many-
kind of brings us into the 9 hells, I suppose.
How many layers of hell did they actually like write out about?
They did all 9.
Did they actually do all 9?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In the original articles by Ed Greenwood from issues 75 and 76, he did do a pretty detailed account of each type of layer of hell. And if I remember correctly, it was really inspired by, if I want to say, Dante's Inferno.
Okay.
It's another, darn it, it slips my mind. If not Dante's Inferno, it was inspired by another older.
Yeah, the 9 circles of hell was Dante's Inferno.
Was that Dante's Inferno?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah, you were
Okay.
right.
Okay. So I wasn't. My mind wasn't slipping there. Okay. So it was. So that it was that. All right. Cool. So I know that was part of it, but yeah, if you haven't looked at them, by all means do so. Issue 75 and 76 has some great stuff about the 9 hells that you can use in your campaign. So,
I wonder.
and this one is no exception. It's kind of a companion article to those.
Some of these names that he has for demons, because they go into the diabolique names, or the diabolic names, however you want to pronounce it. There, some of them I'm like, where did he get some of these names from? I did some.
Actually, you want to know?
Yeah, sure.
Some of these are actual names from magical books in real life.
Because I did some demonic research back in like days, and I don't remember coming across most of these names. So
some of them are.
Some of them, yeah.
Baal and Baalzebul. Not Arioch, but I think those are just a few. Dispater, I think, might be one too. But I don't know. Maybe he just had a knack for creating names that sound somewhat Greek or Latin.
Yeah.
So either way, they work. I mean, as far as how they sound, I don't know if they work as far as summoning. I haven't tried them, so
they don't work, Nick.
No.
Anyway,
they don't.
No, they don't work.
Yeah. Darn.
So he gives a list of all these names, and then he goes into describing other names, or the outcasts. I was kind of hoping he maybe describe the ones that he gave names for. So
some of them, like Hudijin, Hudijin. He is in Monster Manual too.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Some of these are in the Monster Manual too, like Baalzebul is in Monster Manual too. So is Arioch. But some others are not. I don't know, who, as far as in the hierarchy of hell and, as far as stats are, I guess that would be up to the DM to decide.
Yeah.
But I do like the other outcasts. So you get the idea when you read the article that the first layer of hell is where outcast archdukes and archduchesses, I guess, are sent to. And they are, for the most part, explicitly instructed not to mess with Tiamat. This is her layer. She's in charge.
Leave her alone.
Yes. Or you're going to have to answer to me, Asmodeus. Rock me, Asmodeus. Anyway. So yeah, there's 9 different ones that he goes over.
Yeah, we got a Silver Dawn article there too. I mean, advertisement there too.
Oh yes.
$5,000 quest tournament.
I always thought these were interesting, the play-by-mail games.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that was kind of, all right, I put in my 3 moves. Now I got to wait a few weeks or a month. What do I do until then?
Yeah. Yeah, because I actually sent away for the Hyborian Wars.
That's what you did. You told us that.
And yeah, because
I remember that.
It came with a really sweet map I wish I could find.
And
it was free. That was the baffling part.
Didn't we find
I
the
never
map?
actually sent in my first move to play, so I never actually paid anything. But they would be like, yeah, you need to mail your moves in by this time. We'll pump them all, the moves into a computer. We'll spit out the results and tell you what happens.
Yeah.
And then you go to the next one, and it was like $5-10 a month, something like that.
Well, you got the Silver Dawn one here. It's like you get $7 you got to give for the rules and the first move, and each move thereafter is $3. Well, okay. Why do I have to pay to play? I don't understand. Wait a minute. Okay, this is a guy right now in 2017. I'm playing World of Tanks. Okay.
This is the 1980s version of World of Tanks.
Okay. But it takes a lot longer to play and get satisfaction out of it.
Well, time passed slower back then.
That's true. That's true.
Heck, it's like
and you look at the little thing you got to clip off here. I prefer to play fighter, mage, thief. Well, how do I know what I want to play if I haven't read your darn rules yet?
Yeah. I want to play an engineer. What is that going to do?
Oh my God, that is one of the classes. Engineer.
Yeah.
Minstrel.
Well, yeah, you can understand maybe a minstrel will do, but what exactly is an engineer going to do?
They have trains?
No.
Maybe he
or is that the other
bridges.
type of engineer? He builds bridges out of the witch who's trying to summon devils.
And then we go on, we get another ad for cast your own fantasy figures. Not a bad offer there.
Oh, okay.
You see it there on the bottom left? By the Duncan Company?
Yes. $9.95. You can get our $15.95 fantasy starter set. Cool. And they're molds.
Yeah.
They're not the actual minis themselves. You get the molds to make your own.
Yeah, that's why it's cast your own fantasy figures.
Yeah. So it's probably like their first molds.
Thank you.
You send $1 for a complete brochure, which is refundable.
Ooh.
So basically, and that was kind of the gimmick back then. You pay for the catalog, but you get that off your first purchase.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, so it's like a little voucher, a little coupon, if you will.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably because they were sending out various catalogs and people weren't buying anything and they were losing money. So
yeah, and I think still at this time they were casting the miniatures out of a lead. They didn't move the pewter yet.
Probably.
I didn't think it's really started seeing the lead free stuff till like late 80s, early 90s. And that was because of really environmental issues, which is totally understandable.
And people chewing on them.
Yeah, that's kind of bad. That might explain a few things about me. But
boom.
Everybody's probably out there nodding like, yeah.
That's our Nick.
That's our Nick. So yeah, they got a little more about these outcast greater devils that are sent to the first layer, and they cause pretty much trouble for anybody but Tiamat. So I like those are pretty cool. So if you were going to have a campaign and and your characters go on the first plane of hell, there might be a pretty good chance that you might run into one of these nefarious characters. And then it gets into like to talk about some of the riches of hell, where like on the first layer, I guess there's like caches of treasure of various types all over the darn place, and that's why adventurers like to go there. And then it breaks down on the different layers on what each archduke or has for its treasure. And I guess maybe if it's pertinent, if that layer has various minerals and gems that you can find there. Where's the one where they talk about the 2 unique metals from hell and where those are found.
It's towards the end, I think. Right on page 29, unique metals and talismans.
There we go. Yeah, there's these. They said the metals are found on the layers of Fleshgatoth, Malborge, Meldomini, and Nessus. I probably mangled at least one of those.
Someone's going to write in, I can't believe Nick.
Can't believe you said that wrong.
Did you notice?
To be fair,
did you notice the little ad that was there of turn dragon problems into child's play? It was on page 26.
Page 26.
A little tiny ad, a little kid stabbing a little baby dragon.
Oh, yeah. Cute.
by Nickel Services.
Nichols out of Buckeye Way, Columbus, Georgia.
Never heard of that stuff.
No. Though I do remember seeing their stuff in here in Dragon Magazine advertised Wizard System, Util System. Are these...
I don't know what it is exactly. It looks like its own system.
It runs on a PC. Or either runs on an IBM or an Apple computer.
Oh.
Creatively designed and run fantasy role-playing games. It was one of the very first computer utilities for role-playing games.
I wonder if they're still in business. 404-323-9227. Give them a call.
Operators are standing by.
Tell them you want to buy this game.
I was reading. Say, yeah, what y'all want?
I was reading Dragon Magazine number 91 from 1984, and it said I can buy this game for. Can you imagine?
What the hell are you talking about, boy?
Could you see that
are
the
you
operator
possessed by the devil?
Yeah, it's like I like going through the old listings where they list all the ads that'll list all the game stores and seeing if any of them are still happen to be around. Which
so you do that too?
Yes, and there actually is one that I noticed that is still up and running. The Complete Strategist is still around.
Strategist, yeah.
Yeah.
My old stomping grounds are gone.
Aw.
Yeah. Star Realm, gone but not forgotten. What's this also? Another computer game, or a computer game itself. The other one's kind of like a gaming aid. Reach for the Stars. On page 27.
Yeah.
For your Apple II or Commodore 64. It's only $45.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
It is a lot.
Yeah, especially back then.
Yeah, was it? You need a whole, probably 256K of memory.
What a shock. Nicholas Service does not exist anymore.
Wow. No big surprise.
Yep. A couple more.
But yeah, they had those unique metals they talked about in this article from the Nine Hells. The one's called Argale. And this one mixed with iron, it becomes a light green-gray color. Sometimes known as Javava, I think. And the other one's called Tantulhor. Another type of metal, which is like the weapon blades fashion of it will cut through anything they touch except stone.
And is unbreakable.
Unbreakable.
So it's adamantium.
Basically, yeah, the D&D version of adamantium.
Copyright Marvel.
Yes. Void prohibited. Offer not available in Utah.
And Nick's house.
Then we have some advertisements for the ideal mapping system on page 31. Rigid, transparent, erasable grids for war games and role-playing games. Use hexagonal movement hours.
In other words, plexiglass with the hex grid printed on it.
Basically, yeah. Yeah. And then you have advertisement for Psy World from Fantasy Games Unlimited. And you have some stuff about the nature of devils traveling on the river Styx, which everybody knows when you're playing the game enough or knowing your mythology. Don't take a swim in the river Styx.
Why not? No,
oh, go right on ahead. Don't worry, you won't remember a thing. Really?
The water's warm. Jump right in.
Who are you? Apparently, I'm going to jump into the river Styx when I turn 70. Who are you? Get off my lawn. Who am I?
No, then you'll forget everything. And
What's a lawn?
what's D&D?
Oh, that would suck. Okay.
Speaking of D&D, we get a full ad color of the set 3 of the companion rules of the Menser box set.
Yep, and I think that's where I stopped buying them, at the companion set.
Yeah, I didn't really play many of the rules except for Immortals after this. So
Yeah, I didn't get anything after companion. I was just not interested. I was so probably wrapped up with AD&D at the time that regular D&D just kind of lost its. It just didn't. I just didn't play it anymore. I maybe got stuff for it from time to time, but yeah, I never played it.
I had the box sets. Yeah, I collected them, but never played it.
Yeah.
Immortals,
And then you have another advertisement from the Armory, their paint chart of 72 different colors, which is now, 72 million?
Yeah.
So,
we went from 72 to 72 million colors.
Because 16,000 shades of gray is just not enough.
Yes.
Was I the only one when they had advertisements from the Armory, just for example?
Yeah.
And they have on the next page all the different game or hobby stores where they might have their product. Did you look for your favorite game store on the list?
Of course.
I always did too. I'm like, is Star Realm there? Are they there? Are they there? No. Shoot.
Yeah, it's like a million companies, and yours is definitely going to be on there.
Right.
Yeah, and then you look, who are these guys?
Yeah, I never got the privilege of doing that back in the day because I didn't actually have a game store until the 2000s.
Oh,
I was mass market book boy. So if it wasn't at Walden Books, it didn't count because I didn't have.
I sometimes went to Walden Books and got
Amazing.
stuff. I had their membership for their science fiction book club.
The complete strategist is on there from back then too.
Heck yeah!
They've been around forever.
New York,
yeah.
God.
Yep, I've been to their store once, and it's basically from floor to ceiling, just games and games and games and games in this what feels like very tiny, cramped building. So
what a shop!
Yeah.
Mine isn't.
If you're in New York, it's worth stopping by and checking out because it's also not far from Midtown Comics too. Big giant comic store, so you can kind of just make a little nerd day of it, wandering the city.
Yeah, I don't think half these
every day in my house.
I don't think half these gaming stores in Texas are here either because I don't recall. I don't recall Wargamers World at all in Dallas. And Armadillo Soldier Shop, I don't recall that one either in Dallas.
Yep, and all the Ohio stores are in the northern part of Ohio, not even.
I'd be surprised if any of these are even still around, like Little Shop of War in Akron. I doubt it. Massillon, Wings, Wheels, and Waves. Doubt it.
Anyway.
But
then you have the Danielson's Dungeon.
In Painesville.
Yes. That's so appropriate.
Yes.
Another article by Ed Greenwood.
Yep. Answering some questions about the 9 Hells. So, I don't know. The question number 4. What prevents certain archdevils from simply attacking each other to take other planes of the 9 Hells? Answer, in a word, fear. He does elaborate from there, but yeah, fear. Sometimes fear is a great motivator not to do things.
Yes. It's a valid question.
It is. It's valid.
Yeah. Who would have thunk that pretty much Osmodeus runs an authoritarian 9 levels of hell?
That's right, because that's the way he rolls. Then they have this advertisement for a game called Dawn of the Ancients. Don't know anything about it.
Another play-by-mail.
It is. Oh, there you go.
Which
probably why I've never seen it.
Long gone.
Play-by-mail was a huge thing back then.
Some of these games that they advertise are just
Spacey gamey.
Yeah,
Is that
play tested for over 4 years.
Spacey Gaming? Is that like a Klingon ship attacking the, I don't know, UFO?
Basically, it looks like it's probably a streamlined version of like Starfleet Commander.
It's a game of ship-to-ship combat in outer space. Spacey gaming. I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to picture these guys sitting around. Where are we going to call our game? We've over 4 years of play testing this, fellas. What are we going to call it?
Spacey Gamey.
Well, they spend all their time play testing and not coming up with names, and they're about ready to go to print. They're like, "Oh no, we need to name it."
And all the good ones have been taken, like Star Trek or Star Wars, or at least will be.
So they're like, Spacey Gamey.
Or they might have been drunk. I don't know. This guy's just Spacey gaming, guys. What the heck?
And a nice, colorful article for White Dwarf.
Yeah, when White Dwarf was good. Oh, did I say that out loud?
When it wasn't just like a miniature porn.
Yeah, when it wasn't the house magazine for Games Workshop. Actually had good stuff in there.
I like the little graphic.
Now it's all photos.
Oh yeah,
the little graphic. Why isn't it called White Goblin? And the little goblin, they're all mad.
Yep.
What's that little thing behind him?
I don't know. A little thing.
It's like a little thing with horns. It's like a little tribble
and
or
big
something.
Feet.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, the tribble with feet and horns
and a tail.
And a tail. Yeah, but they, look at them. They were basically like the Dragon magazine of Great Britain. They had everything in there, and they had some really good stuff in there. And then slowly over time, they just became White Dwarf, aka we're just Games Workshop stuff now.
Right. And then Games Workshop discovered, hey, we can just sue people for trademark infringement, even if we don't actually have a trademark for it, and it's been in public domain for like 70 years, Space Marines.
Yeah. Right.
Okay. Advertisement for
other store.
TSR advertisement saving up to 65% off your retail value.
Now, I got to say something about this.
Okay, go ahead.
A lot of the modules that I bought back in the day, I got because of this, those little packaging deals that they had for their 10th anniversary.
Mm-hmm.
And they were really, really good deals. You can get like 2, 3, 4 modules packaged together for a really good price. I mean, they like the one here. You could get Village of Hamlet, Hidden Shrine of Tomoe-chan, Dwellers of the Forbidden City, and Against the Giants, all for $16.
Aw, offer expires 85.
Well, 12/31/85.
I was going to do that if it was still on.
Yeah, contact Wizards of the Coast. You want me these modules for $16?
Yes. Yeah. I'd like to get these.
See, Watsy, like, I don't think
but
so.
I mean, if you look at it, that's like $4 a book right there.
Yeah.
That's especially a hell of a deal.
Especially the modules themselves are worth, at that time, what, $10 at least?
Yeah. Anywhere from like $7 to $10, I think. From what I remember reading somewhere, this might have been on what's the one website where they have all the different info on the prints of the different modules and
like Arcadia or something like that.
Arcasium.
Yeah, that's it. Arcasium. Yeah.
From what someone did some research on this, and they explained when they did this 10th anniversary bonus pack deals.
Yep.
There's all these, and there's all different ones. I think I don't know if they list them all here, but I know on the website that they did when they were doing a little history on it. It was I guess it was kind of a whole sort of a clearing house of the warehouse of all these printed modules that they've had sitting there or in TSR.
Overstock?
And they thought, basically overstock, yeah.
Oh, wow.
And this was a way to get rid of all that overstock. And nowadays you're like, how much do you want to pay for like a copy of Hidden Shrine of Tomoe-chan, an original?
Right.
Or Dwellers of the Forbidden City? I remember getting, I think, some of the S series of modules and those, how they were packaged up. So, yeah, those are really heck of the deals. So
then more Dragon.
Then you have, Yep, more Dragonlance.
Yep.
New books about telling the saga of Kryn. I just never got into it.
I like the. I liked some of the books, and then some of them were just kind of meh.
Meh.
I still remember
There's
when
a-
I was in. Oh wow, what was it called at the time? It wasn't. It was pre-border days. The bookstore that was always in the mall. I can't think of the name of it.
Walden?
Yes,
Walden Books.
Books. Thank you. In Walden Books, and I remember looking at all the books, and I'm like, which one should I buy? And some dude's like comes up and goes, "Oh, the Dragons of the Autumn Twilight. This is perfect. This book. You should get it. You should get it." And he gave it to me, and I purchased it and read it, and I was like, meh.
Yeah, I don't know why. They never really grabbed me.
Yeah.
The only thing I remember, I think it might have been the year before, or earlier that year, they had, when they were just kicking off Dragonlance, there was a little, I don't know if it was an excerpt out of a book, but it was like a short story in Kryn. I remember reading that. That was in Dragon magazine, but other than that, it never really tripped my trigger, if you will.
You see, what I felt was with these books, when it was Margaret Weiss writing it, it was good. When it was Margaret Weiss and Hickman, it just seemed like they conflicted a lot. When it was just Tracy Hickman, it was excellent. But when the two of them got together, it just seems like it was two different drastic styles of writing going on, even though they collaborated and wrote together for such a long time.
You could probably pick out when you were, it's like, okay, this is Weiss writing this, and this is Hickman writing, and this, it was kind of jars you out of the narrative, I guess.
Yeah, maybe that's what it was, but I don't know. I liked them both, so.
Hey, here's an advertisement about the Illuminati. I mean, the game Illuminati. And a play-by-mail one, too. I didn't know.
Yeah, because in the
play
play-by-mail wasn't
version of Illuminati.
Yeah, but it wasn't handled by Steve Jackson. The
It
play-by-mail
was licensed from them, though.
Yes, it was. So I'm just like, I would almost be interested if someone out there actually has like how the play-by-mail rules were processed for some of these games, just to see how they work, and maybe we could bring it back via message boards or something.
Nah.
Really
just like the nostalgia part of me misses the days of BBSs. I don't know why, but I kind of would like go to a website, but it's actually laid out like a BBS.
Are you going all Jason on me? Reminiscing
yes,
about
I
it?
am.
Wanting
I
to
to
do
dust
it?
off my IBM PS2 and go through my 2400 baud modem and connect to BBSs.
And then slam your fist on the desk when you realize how slow it really is.
And then you go back to your modern-day computer.
Exactly.
Now, one of the things I've always liked in here was the convention calendar.
Well, yeah, when there's no internet, you need this to figure out what your conventions are.
Well, that, and also I was always looking for my local game convention if they advertised in Dragon. So I love some of the names. WhamCon, WarCon, RustyCon,
PointCon,
UtherCon,
Son of Pandemonium.
Son of Pandemonium.
HatCon.
They didn't go with the whole narrative being con. HatCon. Come on. HatCon.
Hey,
Con,
leave them alone. HatCon is just
contest. They started with the con at the beginning.
Oh, now that's creative. Now, HatCon was at a Ramada Inn. They have a hat masquerade. Oh, okay. A pool party, a champagne Sunday brunch. Okay, I'm trying to picture a bunch of gamers at a pool party. Not going to be pretty. So
wearing hats.
It was in Connecticut.
Connect, I cut.
Yes.
That's how they
How
talk.
much you want to bet about 90% of these conventions no longer exist?
I
bet none of them do, actually.
Probably.
This list.
Well,
yeah.
I think Unicon still exists.
Unicon?
I've heard that name before, too. Yeah, Matt, do us a Google on that one while we keep looking.
Unicon.
And then we get another article here about more than just role-playing. The complete fantasy series. It's an advertisement.
Oh, yeah, that's big. That big advertisement from Bard Games.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen their books. I've known people who've owned them. I think didn't we cover Complete Alchemist?
Yes, I think we did.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then
Yeah, I knew someone who had a lot of this stuff. The Atlantean trilogy. It's kind of if I remember it, it's kind of it's like a house rule version of D&D.
Mm-hmm.
Very similar. So, and then there's another advertisement on a Sherlock Holmes detective game. And then available in these fine stores where I would go and look and see if my favorite game store is listed. Or it isn't.
And it isn't, and you get annoyed and go,
damn it. It's like, why not? You guys stink. You can get back issues from Dragon Magazine here.
How cool is that, by the way, of the Star Trek plexiglass thing? You can...
Oh, that?
The matte thing was actually in black.
Matte,
yeah.
Deep Space Black.
Yep. For Starfleet battles, because you need it for that game.
Yes, you do.
Yes,
that's pretty cool.
I want back issue of Dragon.
I don't even know if you could find stuff like that. I know you can get battle mats and mega mats, but I haven't seen them in black.
Yeah.
Not even today.
Yeah. Well, if you want to make your own, here in Cincinnati, our public library has a giant, large-scale vinyl printer you can use for free.
The library.
Yes, the library. They have a maker center. So they have a 3D printer you can use for your personal use too, and laser cutters and all
They have a 3D printer?
Yeah, multiple 3D printers.
Wow.
So if you wanted a big vinyl mat, you could make one. Just check with like a large library and see if they have that, like a maker center, and if they do, they should have one.
Wow, that's cool.
And it's like $2 a foot to print.
Oh, wow.
So $6, you can get yourself a 3-foot vinyl mat.
That's pretty damn cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering
or if you want to,
if you get the boo-boo ones like at Origins, and they're usually what, $15-$20.
Right. So yeah, check your public library out. You can, if they have that maker center, you can make a lot of stuff. I've been eyeballing either printing off like game bits and laser cutting game dividers for like board games and stuff to better organize them.
Or you can contact Matt and have him print it for you.
Yes. And then
for a small finder's fee.
Absolutely. Not to mention the time involved in setting it all up.
Yes,
contact Matt at matt.com. No, I'm kidding.
mattmakesmats.com.
Yes.
I get to see the next business. All of a sudden, Matt opens it up, mattmakesmats.com.
Mattmakesmats.com, and I just live at the public library printing off things.
Think of the
nice little side, thing for yourself right there.
There you go.
Right. Yeah, because all they do is charge you for materials. And actually, a
worst
friend
case,
of mine,
it's beer money, right?
Yeah, and a friend of mine is actually one of the team leads for the Maker Center in Cincinnati. So it's like, hey, I got a hookup.
Uh-oh.
You know the wheels are spinning in his head there, Vince, right? You might do this.
I think I want a vinyl Matt. Matt, I'm going to contact you on the side.
Okay.
Yeah. Can you print it out in black and hack so I can use it for my Star Trek role-playing game?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Treasure Trove.
Treasure Trove. Yes. I think this is the first installment when they did the Treasure Trove thing.
Yeah, 47.
They tried to make this a regular thing, like at least once a year.
Well, yeah, 47 new fantastic magical items.
Yeah. And I'm just going to pick out one of my favorites right off the get-go. Potion of Explosions. Grenade! That's what it pretty much is.
And I'm just wondering about, though, there's one item. The +1/+2 dagger versus dolphins. Was there a need for a +2 dagger against dolphins?
Yes.
Yeah.
They were a major threat.
Yes. For the Aquaman
The Great Dolphin
campaigns.
Wall.
Hey, you never know.
The dolphin uprising.
You never know when there was going to be a dolphin NATO.
Yeah, that's right. I love this Potion of Explosions. I just like the picture. Very simple. Looks like a potato masher stick grenade from World War II. And Yeah, if you just read about it. It's pretty nasty, but that's a cool to have magic item. Don't drink it.
I was also amused by the rod of many things. The it could
Rot,
be
yes.
yes, it could be a sword. It could be a broom. You don't really know if you're not sure how to use it. Maybe
Now,
it's a
one of the
candle
cool
holder.
things about the items, if you notice, they're all silver. They're not magical in themselves, but it could be used against like lycanthropes or other things that only be hurt by silvered weapons.
Right.
I
So
know it says that in
yeah,
the in the article. Psionic boosting potions. Yeah, moving on from that,
right.
because nobody used psionics I ever knew.
Hey, people may have. Okay, never mind.
I'm sorry, I still don't know it.
They also have Cupid's arrows in here. The arrows are
Yeah.
charming.
Ring of the Eagle, which can have it can turn you into an eagle for X amount of time, but if you don't turn back to a human, there's a 1% chance cumulative each day you might be permanently turned into a giant eagle.
There's also the Trumpet of Doom.
Doom! Trumpet
Yes,
of
when you blow it,
Doom!
everything dead within a 60-foot radius comes to life.
Awesome. But it's like a once a day thing, I believe, too. Right?
Yeah.
I believe it's once a day you can use it, or once a week, or something like that.
Once per month.
Once per month. Okay. So that's just like, it's like the anti-death blossom. It brings things to life from
Right,
around you.
but there's also a time limit because it only have 60 hours. And that 60
Oh,
hours
wow.
is split among everything brought back.
You also have Ring of the Grasshopper. Basically, you can jump like a grasshopper. Still, these magic items that would be kind of useful for if you were playing a monk. Ring of the Grasshopper. Character weighing out 250 pounds can jump once per turn as the spell for a number of times a day equal to his strength score. If the wearer ring a grasshopper attempts to jump more than that, he must save paralyzation each time he lands, or he suffers leg injuries. That's funny.
Yeah. Or the necklace of bad taste that
Yeah.
gives
Yes, that's
Yes.
a funny one.
Yeah, it makes you basically kind of like a walking stink cloud.
Yeah,
And then if something were to bite you, they have to save, otherwise they become nauseous.
yeah.
And only 1 in 4 are cursed. So 3 out
Only.
of 4 you can take off.
Yes. And then you have the swords. The Demon Blade. That's a cool sword. It is +3 versus saving throws, whoever wields it. Saving throws versus other magical attacks by demons. The user becomes unusually alert. He's only surprised on a 1 in 12. And it glows with a cold blue light whenever a demon is within 60 feet. And it can cause a demon's amulet to shatter at a touch. Oh, God. Bastard sword +3 to hit and damage, and +5 when used against demon kind. Yeesh. Naturally, the sword has earned the utter hatred of all demons, you think? It can be identified at a glance by any of them. Anyone using this sword will gain the instant and permanent wrath of all demons who see him, who will communicate the sword's location and ownership to all their fellows. I could see a campaign based around just getting that sword and all the hijinks the party could get into.
Yes.
But it's only worth 4,000 XP.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then right after that's the nice ever striking sword that
Cursed ever striking, yes.
Yes, because you'll never miss with this sword. Never. You'll always hit your target unless it's like something crazy attacking someone out of range or something. But when you roll, for every number you missed hitting, you lose that much hit points to make up to get your hit. So basically, yeah, you'll always hit, but if you swing poorly, you're taking a lot of damage.
Plus, if whenever one of the other curses is you have to. This is the first weapon you go to every time in combat.
Right. So you'll always hit, and you'll probably take a lot of damage. So you could kill yourself while swinging the sword, because, well, yeah. That's
Then
how
there's
that
the
thing is.
sword of assassination.
Yeah.
Obviously, what that's used for. And then you have the sword of cowardice. This one's hilarious. It's magical sword +5, capable of speech, minimum intelligence of 14. It has a cowardly personality. First time it's swung at an opponent in combat, the sword's head-shaped paddle will shriek in terror and cry for help. And the noise will attract all wandering monsters within a 120-foot radius. And it will continue to yell the cry for 2 to 12 turns until a silent spell is cast upon it. It will try to avoid combat, twisting in the user's hands. The holder must make a successful roll to open doors at the start of every combat round, or else the sword twists out of the user's grasp, falls to the floor, still shrieking. Oh my gosh. Some of these swords are so timid that even being brought within sighting distance of a non-human monster will cause them to start shrieking. Oh my god. These are hilarious. Why am I just picturing... I envision that one of the personalities be like Will Ferrell. You know?
That'd work perfect.
That would work perfect.
Yeah.
Just with his voice. Oh my god.
All right. Some more ads again. And we get our sage advice.
Sage advice. Or
Well,
in this
it's
case, spies
Spies
advice.
advice, yeah. Clearing up some top secret game questions in case you had some questions about the original Top Secret, which everybody had questions about.
Yep, but I never played it.
No, I've never played original Top Secret. I've played SI, but not the original.
Yeah.
And then we get Time Master. Anyone play Time Master?
No.
No. But before that, hold on.
What?
The little advertisement before on the page before. The year is 100 million BC. First World, a science fiction fantasy war game that allows role playing. Players choose one of the 4 races and use magic, alien technology, and control the dinosaurs of the prehistoric Earth in the quest for the power of a crystal mountain. So you got lasers and dinosaurs together. Pretty much. Yeah. Wonder how long that one lasted. First World. Ah.
Yeah. Another play-by-mail thing, yeah.
Yes. But Time Master. Another one by...
I don't recall that by Pace Setters.
No, I have Chill. I remembered Chill.
Yeah. Have to look.
No, I do remember Time Master.
Yeah,
Yes.
I never played it, but I've heard of it.
Yeah.
Because it's out of that like Time Lords. Because there was a period where I was kind of on the kick of the time travel adventure game where you could play pretty much whatever you want the way the system was set up. So, and that falls kind of under that. So you could strip out the time travel and just run it as a historical game if you wanted.
You can actually get the rules for it via Goblinoid Games.
For Time Master.
Yeah, originally published in '84, they brought it back.
Oh, that's right. They did get a lot of the original stuff from them. Time Master, I don't know if they got Chill, but there was another game they made.
Yeah, you can get it at their Goblinoid Game stores, or probably RPG Now, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Chill got rebooted
Years ago.
Yeah, the 3rd edition, and I heard it wasn't good.
Yeah, I got the original one. I always considered Chill kind of like a Call of Cthulhu light. Still a neat game, but I don't know. Was it? It was okay. I never really played it or anything like that.
Time Masters is $4.76 on Drive Through RPG.
Wow,
Original rules, just redone by Goblinoid Games.
that's pretty cool. Then you got an advertisement by, was it RAFM company out of Canada? They made minis.
TSR Attractions.
Yeah. And then
Oh, the new stuff always coming out. Yeah, Conan Against Darkness. It's their forward into the Conan series.
Didn't we do the first one?
Yeah,
I
we did
think
actually.
so, and I think we did the Red Sonja one too.
Yeah.
We should do Conan Against the Darkness just for a follow-up for Conan Unchained.
I did have one of these for Star Frontiers 2001: A Space Odyssey. I did have that module for that game.
I have that module, yes.
Yeah, I think I have 2010 too.
Yeah.
Second Odyssey. And then we get into the Ares section, their sci-fi portion of Dragon Magazine, which had some good stuff.
Yeah. Yep, you got a little bit of Traveler, a little bit of Marvel superheroes, a little bit of Top Secret,
A little bit of Gamma World.
Got a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
A little bit of that. Yeah,
It's basically like a sub magazine in a magazine.
Yeah, it was. And it was a cool section. I remember at the time I was getting into Star Frontiers. I was kind of fiddling around with that a little bit. The Marvel RPG just came out, I think maybe the year before.
No, it came out in '84, so it was.
So it came out that same year.
Yeah.
So yeah, they got a little thing here about the characters Cloak and Dagger, if you remember them.
Yeah, bunch of stuff here, yeah.
And there's the advertisement for the role-playing game, the original one.
You know, I've never actually owned that box set, the original basic box set.
Yeah.
Me neither. I waited to get the advanced one.
Yeah, I actually got the 1989 version of the basic because they did a re-release of it, and I have that, and then I also got the advanced version, which was odd because the version from '89 had more the updated characters.
Mm-hmm.
And the minis were different because the original minis were just kind of squares, whereas in the updated basic they were actually trifolded stand-ups.
Wow!
I remember what was it about 4 years ago? When I came here, 5 years ago when I came to Texas, I got a backpack full of Marvel stuff.
Oh,
this
wow.
guy was selling it on Craigslist. I just happened to be Googling something about Marvel RPG, and it came up, and it was like $15, and it was a backpack full of Marvel stuff. I'm like, oh wow! So I looked at the list. It came with the original box set, the Powers book, Mutant Updates, Webs, the Spider-Man, Mutant this, Mutant X, Mutant this, the basic rules. Which actually I'm kind of sad because the basic rules were just photo printed in a binder. Various judges' screens, maps, and everything. It was, think of like a backpack that you would probably take to school, filled with Marvel stuff.
Nice.
Wow.
And it's heavy too. I weighed it; it was like 30 pounds. Here,
I don't know if we.
I'll put it against the desk.
Oh my God! Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know if I mentioned this before. I might have, but when Wizards bought out TSR, one of the things that slipped through the cracks was the Marvel Superheroes RPG license.
Yeah, I don't understand.
All that's online now.
Yeah, I don't
for free.
Yeah, we've discussed that actually in a
thought
couple
we did,
episodes.
yeah.
Yeah, it's in that questionable yes, no, because it's the Marvel license. You know, they've kind of got dibs on it because they control the trademarks.
But the game mechanic itself,
it has been redone as 4 colors
and face rip also.
Yeah, face rip. Yeah,
but
so
the rules just basically fall under, as long as you don't try to sell it. Who cares?
Well,
the material's outdated anyway, so it's not like you're getting anything. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like I picked up there was a game store that had bought like someone's Marvel collection, and in 2 binders they had every page of the Marvel Universe handbooks.
Oh, I remember those.
All like 10 sets of them.
Yeah, I got some of those right here actually.
So they were like, the owner knew I played the Marvel game, and he was like, "Hey, how much would you? I have these binders of pages. How much for them? How much would you buy them for?" So I look at them, I'm like, "Oh wow, because just one of those goes for about $20."
Yeah.
I was able to get the entire collection of the Marvel Universe handbooks for $20.
Now it's probably the best offer he was going to get.
Yeah, absolutely. Because
Wow.
it's very much, if you play the game and know what it is, it's worth it. But if you don't, it's worth absolutely nothing.
Right.
So,
And photocopy, right?
no, originals.
No
Oh,
originals.
okay.
It was all was original. Plus, it had some other stuff too. It looked like it was just standard Marvel Universe comic book pages and inserts too, with more character descriptions, but they weren't from the actual game thrown in with it. And it had all the markers for characters from the original 1984 base set, which actually I didn't have. So I'm like, oh,
Did
yeah,
anyone?
It was definitely worth it for me.
Did
But it was-
anyone have it?
Yeah, apparently not. From the sounds of it.
I wonder if you can actually how well it will come out to print them through Lulu. I mean, just to have them in printed form. I guess you could do that.
Yeah.
Hmm.
At this point, I have so many hero clicks. I just use those for my minis.
Yeah. Or you can go to the library and make your own.
Right. Exactly.
All right, so let's skip ahead here. We got some Gamma World, some Star Frontiers, a role-playing game association ad,
Yep.
not filled out for once.
Stuff from Roll Aids actually advertised in Dragon Magazine
Why not?
before they dropped the hammer.
Why not? We need money for everything, so we're going to take anything.
Yeah, I thought that's funny.
And then
There's a short story.
The Rune and the Dragon, yeah, Star Story, blah 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 blah. Okay.
More Fantasy Games Unlimited ads for
Ooh.
Daredevils and Chivalry and Sorcery.
Yeah, which I have Chivalry and Sorcery 3rd edition. Yeah, 3rd edition. I'm looking on the shelf. Never played it. Always looked cool. Never played it. Anyone
And
play it?
Daredevils.
No. Shogun.
The Shogun card game, I think.
Yeah.
Yes, the Shogun card game, not to be confused with the Shogun board game.
Shh, don't
Because I almost made that mistake when on a Craigslist ad.
And this
I
is
thought-
officially licensed by the author
Right.
of the book Shogun.
Yeah, because someone posted it for sale. They said Shogun game, and I looked at it and I'm like, oh, does it have all the parts? And was asked some questions about it because I would like to get a copy of it. And then he started describing the card game. I'm like, oh, that's not what I thought it was. Never mind.
He probably found it somewhere and was like, oh, I'll sell it. Someone will want it.
Right.
Yeah.
Duel Masters. Play-by-play mail.
You know what? For a while, you could still play that at Origins. They
Really?
did like a play-by-mail thing at Origins of this game, if I recall.
How did that work?
They did it like by computer.
Oh, okay.
I think it was Duel Masters.
So what, to simulate the time, they had you put your move in and come back 3 hours later, or?
Yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah. You had a ticket for each turn.
Okay. Mad. And then we have The Butler Didn't Do It. Mysterious Adventures in Role-Playing.
Like they cover
Mercenary
Mercenary Spies and Private Eyes.
Yeah. Shogun, the game.
Yep. They cover, I guess, an adventure for Call of Cthulhu called Death and Dunnage.
Mm-hmm. Gangbusters.
Gangbusters.
Which is a lot of fun, actually. I've never played Gangbusters. I had the book, and then I actually got to play it once at North Texas when Glenn was running it, DM Glenn of Thaco's Hammer. Had a lot of fun. He knows how to play that game really well.
Yeah.
Or I should say run that game really well.
Yeah, that's
Gangbusters would be fun to play now. I could think of it because I've really got into watching Boardwalk Empire. Been binge watching that. What a great show. If you haven't watched it, you need to.
Yeah, Gangbusters is one that's on my I would like to get list, but at the same time, I don't want to pay the prices it goes for currently. So I'm looking for a good deal on one. If anyone has one,
Gangbusters? Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a cool advertisement for The Complete Strategist, all their different game stores all across the East Coast.
and 3 of them are still open because I did check before
New
the
York?
show.
Well, which ones? New York? New Jersey,
Bought
maybe?
New York, Massachusetts, and Virginia.
Huh.
Virginia. Their Florida store's gone, huh?
Yeah.
Aw.
Well, I know the big store down there in Orlando, Sci-Fi City. So that one's ginormous.
And D&D posters sold only at Sears.
Oh, yeah.
Put on your Sunday's best and go buy a D&D poster.
Yep. Art by Larry Elmore. Thanks, Larry.
V&V ad.
Oh, yeah. I love Villains and Vigilantes.
Heroes Unlimited. Never played it.
Never played it. Seen it. Never played it.
Got the rule books for it.
Are those
Yeah,
the ones that are the big, giant black books that are like look like inside?
Yeah, it's like a big, thick, hardbound book. I remember.
No, that is Champions.
Oh, okay.
You're in Heroes is the one with the textbook thin pages that stops bullets.
Oh, okay.
Heroes Unlimited is the Palladium superhero game.
Gotcha. Okay. Then a gamer's guide. I think this is what you were talking about before, Nick.
Yep. Like, I want the T-shirt that says, "Who says dragons don't fly?" It's got the dwarf with the shield there, with the dragon poo on it.
Yeah.
Got your ad for Dragon Bone. That electronic
Yeah.
dice gimmick.
I knew one guy who had one of those.
Yeah. Really, these are probably like the classified section is
Yeah.
probably one of my favorite things in the old Dragons to go through, just to see some of the random things that were out there.
Yeah.
Especially like some of the more obscure like games, but from like a guy in his house on like a mimeograph machine making
Whoa.
pamphlets you could get.
Check
That sort
out
of stuff just fascinates me.
check out the ad on 103. The Game Master computer program. A Timex Sinclair 2068. What computer was that?
Yeah.
Oh, I've heard of it. It's
A VIC.
By
yep.
Timex? Wow.
Yeah. Because there was a whole Sinclair line of computers, and so they probably just branded it Timex for the.
And the
branding.
VIC 20? I never heard of either one of
Yeah,
those
I've
computers.
I've heard of the VIC 20.
Yeah, I've heard of the VIC 20 too. Back
Nope.
in the days of the cassette tape computers.
Yeah.
So at which point I'm sure somewhere out there, if you go through the emulation sites, you may be able to find this software. Actually, I may
And
have to do that.
On page,
Uh-oh. Matt's at it. Matt's at it.
well, I know one page that, they have a big advertisement for TSR's Endless Quest books
Yeah.
on the very next page. Because, if you couldn't do any actually gaming any other time, you have one of these in your back pocket. You can pretty much do it on your own.
Yeah.
I've never used them. How big are those books?
They're just
Like novel size?
no, not even that
No.
big. They're thinner. They're more
Maybe
like
128 pages or less.
Yeah, they're
maybe
like the
96.
young adult paperbacks that maybe like 6th graders would read. That size,
Oh, okay.
thickness.
Okay.
Some of them were really good. Some of them
Yeah.
were really fun.
Right. It was like, and then the ones that were actually like paperback
Yeah.
novel size were like the Lone Wolf series by Joe.
Those
Dever.
are the
Loved
ones-
those. And
Those
he
are the
actually
ones
passed
that
away.
I know there was ones not by TSR where you actually you had stats and stuff for your character.
Right.
These were,
Oh,
the endless quest ones were just, pick your path.
right. The Lone Wolf ones, there was like a series of books, and if you had the first book, you had your character, you would get equipment in it, and then your equipment and stats and skills you picked would carry over into the next book in the series. And it was like a whole story arc for your character. And the first series was like 12 books, and then after that, there was tons of books. He also did a post-apocalyptic one, Freeway Warrior, I think was 4 books. But yeah, I loved all those Joe Dever books. And then
Then they have an advertisement for the Indiana Jones RPG.
Haven't, never played it.
Nope.
Same here. I've got it. Found it at a yard sale for like 50 cents or something stupid. I don't even know if it's complete. Never bothered checking. Because I flipped through it. I'm like, oh, you can't actually create a character, at least from the books I had. So I'm like, meh.
Yeah, that's the one you can't. You have to play Indiana Jones or one of the
Okay,
characters.
so I'm not missing anything then.
After that, you have what I always turn to was
Wormy.
the cartoons. Wormy.
Yep, got a couple pages of cartoons here, which we all loved.
Loved Wormy. He was
Snarf
great.
Quest. Oh boy, and then we got an ad for Paranoia, which I loved playing Paranoia. I wish more people played it.
Yeah, I've never actually played it. That's on the I would love to, but just haven't got to it.
It's sad too because I was in a game at North Texas RPG Con for this in 2016 last year of June, and the GM never showed up. I was mad.
Aw.
I was so looking forward to playing it too.
Paranoia is so much fun.
And then we get the Middle Earth role playing game.
Merp.
Bless you.
Merp.
And that's the end.
Thank you. That's the end. A little trip back to memory lane there.
Yeah, definitely a lot of fun.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's head into our last segment of the night, and we'll do some sage advice. Sage advice.
Sage advice.
Alrighty, on Sage Advice this week, we have some voicemails and we have some emails. But first, 570-865-4210 is the hotline. You can leave us a voicemail, leave us your opinion. rfistaff@gmail.com. Head over to our website, rfipodcast.com, and click on Contact Us, and you can check it out. Also, we got our site revamped. Did you guys notice that, by the way?
No, I haven't looked yet. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we had a professional designer, somewhat professional designer, jump in there and offer to redesign the entire site for us. So
Oh, cool.
had it redone, make it more streamlined and everything for us. So, yeah. Anyway, let's jump right into some voicemails. We have three voicemails, actually, we got over the break from an old familiar voice and then a new one. Guys, prepare to laugh, so you may want to mute your microphones. Here we go.
Hey, I'm allowed to have one phone call. And I figured I'd call the bastards at RFI. Well, have a happy Yuletide and a great New Year, you soggy bastards. And remember, Cranston hates your guts. Well, hello, girls. This is for the sissies at RFI. It's your buddy Cranston. I hope Krampus gets hold of your old fat Saint Nick and puts a hoof right up his bottom. And I'd like to wish you rotten bastards a happy New Year.
This is Shmee the Goblin. I'm hoping you guys have a wonderful Christmas. I'm hoping that Saint Nick drops me off an original idea. Maybe even something funny. Ha ha! Have a happy Christmas.
So as you can see, our voicemail line has been quite busy with Cranston and Shmee the Goblin.
Schmeed and Cranston both showed up.
Yeah. I see our restraining orders must have lapsed at the beginning of the new year.
Well, it doesn't restrict them calls, unfortunately. Now we got to fix it then.
I just got a message. I need to go to HR. Damn it.
Oh,
I know. I'm in trouble. Oh, well. So,
Cranston.
Yeah.
I wonder what would happen if Cranston and Schmid actually met.
They'd blow up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So anyway, some highlights here from Twitter. You can follow us by RFI Podcast at Twitter. I had a really lengthy conversation the other day with the Real Venger from the cartoon, by the way. You can find him
Really?
at the Real Venger, and he said that he wanted us to find. He sent a message screaming to me. Actually, he said, "Find me the Dungeon Master's items of power, or else." And then the conversation went from there. So,
okay.
Whomever runs the account is pretty good at it. So,
him and Doctor Doom should just meet up.
yeah, he was real cool because I told him that I sent it to him, but Tiamat got it, and he should have been home for delivery. And he curses Tiamat probably ate it. He was really funny, but I like the guy. We went on for a while and everything. So
I think he's secretly in love with Tiamat, but that's just me.
Yeah.
probably. Then I got screamed at by a new school role player person because there was an article that I shared about how the DM is the final say in adjudication and during the game, and anything else should be talked upon later on. And of course, the DM always has the final ruling. It's his world. And I got screamed at by saying, "That's not how a game's supposed to be. Everyone's supposed to have a full democracy." And he just stopped following the show, which was kind of silly. But
Okay, well, moving on from here.
yeah, it's just like, you'll never have gamers that way. It's like, yeah, people come into D&D 1E knowing this already, so it's not like it's a big giant surprise.
Yeah, It's not like the DM puts a hammer down, but it's, he's the game master. He's the dungeon master, and he's got the final say-so.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And really, if you're a good DM in first edition, the players will never even know you're fudging the rules.
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you can use the way the rules are set up, you can obfuscate a lot of things. So,
and it's always best that stories trump rules and just keep moving along and discuss things after the game or through email or something. Don't bother everyone by sitting there flipping through a book. Just be like, for now, we're going to do this. When we have a break later, let's look and see what it really was, and then we'll go from there.
And then they can go to their safe space, and it'll all be good.
Right. Our first email comes in. It's directed at you, Nick. No, it's from DM Alex, and he wants to know, since you have experience running games for your kids and for younger adults or younger kids, what advice would you be willing to impart for an inspiring DM for the same age range you've done for your kids? How can you get them started? A little help, things like that he's looking for. He says, thank you.
Oh, wow.
Teens and preteens. I'm sorry. Teens and preteens.
Teens, preteens, kind of like middle school and older, probably.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
Okay. Well, it's if they're your own, you kind of want to start them young, get them interested slowly into the genre, either with books or movies. But if you're talking like maybe a group of kids at a school, you're trying to organize a club. Well, I guess you kind of want to get a gauge of where all their interests are. If there's anything they've read, movies that they've seen, and I think you just kind of go from there. I think I'm very much in the thought of rules light. If you want to get them something started, I mean, you could go with original D&D or basic D&D, or various OSR versions of it, like Labyrinth Lord or Mazes and Perils, something like that. Yeah, Mazes and Perils.
Never heard of it.
You also have Swords and Wizardry out there too.
Never heard of that.
Swords and Wizardry is a good one. That's kind of a original D&D retro clone. It's very good, and they're very rules light, and it's funny that you had this, because it kind of goes in with the thing as far as learning the rules.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that if you're going to teach the kids the rules, you teach them just by doing. You could sit there and just tell them like how the combat system works and things like that. But if it's going to be you and just a few other kids, you just go through the adventure, and they learn by when the time comes for combat. Then they do it there by rolling the dice. You can sit 20 different ways to Sunday and explain it to them, but some of those things are kind of abstract, and even for me, it's just go out there and do it with them, it's a whole learning experience for them. So I don't know, just some tips I think that might help. If you're going to have like a mixed group of people who played in the past and some new players, some new kids, one of the things I kind of picked up on right now is, if you have some older players like us, we've kind of we've been there, done that, got the T-shirt, So we know all the rules and we've seen all the different sort of game worlds and situations that we've been in. It's hard to separate what we know from what our characters know, because our player characters wouldn't know any of that stuff, right? And for the new kids, they don't know any of it. Plus, their characters don't either. So, one of the things I've been trying to do when I've had new players is, for those people who are already experienced, just have them sit back and think. You got to separate your own personal knowledge from your character knowledge. It's because for some of that, it kind of takes away from the experience, because it seems like your characters know it all and do it all. And for the newer players, that might be a little bit off-putting, if you kind of get what I mean. They feel like they're not really able to do anything. So I guess what I'm trying to get at is let them get the opportunities to do some of those things. Don't always jump in there and try to save the day for them. Sometimes, even a bad experience is still a learning experience in a game, and that's okay. And that's part of the whole thing of them of learning it, and the joy of that discovery during the game, how everything works, and discovering the game world along with it. So those are just some things that kind of come along that I've done. So take what you will. It might work for you. I hope so.
Yeah, keep us updated, DM Alex, on that one, please. Definitely. Our next email comes in from another Alex. This is Alex B. And he said he loves all the shows on our network, all the sister podcasts. And he actually has a question for me directly, asking me what's my strong dislike of second edition. Okay. My strong dislike. I don't have a strong dislike. Yeah, probably in the beginning of this show, I did have a strong dislike because I was really annoyed at the fact that third edition came out and how TSR pretty much almost killed the game. I didn't like second edition for the simple fact that it changed a lot of things and it wasn't Gygaxian anymore. I was a big Gygaxian fan, hence why I like first edition so much. Too much bloat. There was a book for everything and a rule for everything, so it kind of changed the game that I loved into something else. That was the reason why I didn't personally like it in the beginning. As far as now, I don't really care. Your edition is your edition. Play what you want, whatever makes you happy. I'm not going to play second edition ever. It's just not my cup of tea. Just like I'm probably not going to play third, fourth, and probably fifth at this point. I mean, fifth is nice, but I'm not going to really play it along with Pathfinder. But, hey, if you're going to break it out and play it, I'm not going to be like, well, that edition sucks. So, that's just how I felt about it. And this, he said he personally favors a fusion of first, second, and BX as his combination of go-tos with little bits of others to offer. And he thanks us for running all the podcasts that help the OSR era of TSR. Cool. There's a PS. He started in the twilight of 2E. I grew up in the era of third, and that was the system I played the most back in the day. And also, no disrespect to Vince, I'm really grateful for all the hard work he does for the OSR community. And I respect his opinion. Oh, no offense taken, absolutely. Question is a question, yeah, you might want to know, and I'll answer it, not a problem. Next email comes in from Shannon. He says, just wanted to say it's good to hear Crispy back once again. I wonder what happened to you young whippersnappers during the Christmas break.
Well, we covered that.
Yep. He wants to know what Crispy did. So I apologize. Wondering what happened to Crispy during the break, but
he hurt his back.
Yeah, he hurt his back. He couldn't make the show. He hurt his back. According to the text message he sent me, he was busy bringing in too many groceries at once.
He hurt his back bringing in groceries.
Yes. Now,
He's
a young whippersnapper in his 20s. and we're all in our late 30s, 40s, 50s, whatever.
What was he buying? 50-pound sacks of flour?
Right.
I'm trying to think what the shopping trip of a single male would be that would throw your back out.
I don't
Must
know.
be a lot of ramen noodles and hot.
Maybe he's like my wife's friend's kid who thought when you go to the store and it says 10 for 10, you have to actually buy all 10.
Yeah. or maybe he's an extreme couponer and has about a 5-year supply of laundry detergent.
Dude, it's crispy. He probably bought like 100 packs of ramen noodles and
He went to Costco and buy all the bulk stuff. I don't know.
He got a couple pallets of ramen.
Pallets. Anyway, yeah. So when he gets back next show, he'll update you on that one, Mr. Shannon.
Yeah, we'll check it. We'll check out and make sure he's got like his truss and his cane, maybe a walker.
We'll make sure we get proper medical clearance. We have a doctor's note saying he's allowed to come back to podcasting.
Dr. Cranston. No.
I got an email here from DM Sir Thomas, who usually writes in with some Latin words that I can never pronounce and only Nick can. So, yeah, I know. Nick.
Wait a minute. I got a D in Latin, so I'm not that good.
Well, I got a 0 in Latin because I never took it. So, he basically goes on to say how he went to write another review on iTunes because he wrote one a couple years ago. I guess he wanted to write another one. He learned he can't. So he'll just kind of put his thoughts here together. Why not? Well, a couple days ago, right before he woke up, he had a weird dream in which me, DM Vince, and I were playing him in an old Atari game, Pong, talking about old school. I'm not sure how I knew Vince was my opponent, since I've never met him. Must have been a voiceover commentary from him about the black and white television screen in front of me. He was winning 90-60, which I realized it must have been a dream. Apparently, he can't win in Pong, so.
Well, nice.
Basically, he wrote us in to let us know that a young gamer in his circle, who is a 3.5 type fan person, has decided to run his first 1E campaign.
Oh.
He'll be joining in, playing at half orc for the first time. So he just want to let us know he converted someone over.
Half orc named Phil.
Yes, Phil. Phil the guy. Oh, sorry. And that's all our emails for this week. Give us a holler, facebook.com/RFI podcast, or hit us up on Google Plus, or find us on various places across the interwebs. And
yes,
we're going to say keep it original, keep it old school, and good night, everybody.
Good night.
Hey, everybody.
The Roll for Initiative podcast is a production of Wild Games Productions. You can visit us at rfipodcast.com or contact us on our forums at osrgaming.org, or even call us at 570-865-4210. This podcast was produced for entertainment purposes only. All other uses are prohibited. Remember, if your magic missile spell doesn't automatically hit, you're playing the wrong edition. Thanks for listening, and see you next time on Roll for Initiative.